Yes, so namaste everyone.
Recording in progress.
I'll start the class. Hari Om Ji, Hari Om everyone. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we continue with chapter 4, and what really is conveyed to Arjun is that, and through him to all of us, the possibility of Ishvara taking a form as if for the sake of Loka Anugraha, for the sake of benefiting people, the world. He says, remaining my Paramarthik self, I come as required to bless, give Anugraha to the Pidit, Pidit as in the jivas who are suffering, who are experiencing a state of helplessness, feeling lost in creation, feeling having lost our way. And sometimes it could be due to atrocities of some very mean, violent people who enforce their views upon others and take away their right to live and express themselves. These things at a individual level, we all know them. The intensities, the frequencies of sorrows or pangs may not be so much, but there could be jivas who have a very persistent, constant, or overwhelming force from the external world which is pushing them down, which is not letting them live freely. That helpless state of the jiva, when it paramounts, adds up, and more people start becoming enslaved by those wrong people, those who do wrong. Bhagwan says at their plea, when they pray, when they call for me, when they want, they look up to the skies, whatever Shraddha they have, even if it is little Shraddha, they have nowhere else to rely on that Shraddha, however little it be. But they only have that option left. It's almost as a last straw on the camel's back. In that state of helplessness, whatever they have prayed for, called me for, he says, I come again and again to set things back in order. How do I set things in order? By protecting those who are dharmic, who want to follow the righteous, who want to do whatever they should be doing in within limits of dharma, and they need to be protected against those who are adharmic, thus to restate them, to destroy them. I emerge and set the balance. We all know this verse. I am just building it up at this point to help us appreciate. We've concluded whatever knowledge is presently available through the Bhashyams, Shankaracharya, and Madhusudan Saraswati. These are primary at the moment. Other references of other commentators, they don't have so much analysis, just a word or two here and there, so it's okay. This is giving us a great clarity of answering the birth of an avatar. Who is an avatar? Simple words: one who descends, avatarati, उतरते हैं. The one who descends from where? From higher to lower. When someone at a higher position, higher state, steps down to come amongst people who are at a lower state, to help them also rise or at least be comfortable in their state of existence. Even in Laukik Drishti, you find this. A lot of social workers or great professors, great teachers, established in their knowledge, can very comfortably not reach out to others. But you find in every field you will have whom you may in a very little laukik way, call them mentors sometimes. They go out of their way to reach out to someone else who's still not, who's aspiring to be there, maybe, but is still not in that position. And they reach out to make them comfortable, to help them out, etc. That laukically, when you see, it's so common sometimes that we don't register it. But the principle is this: when a father who's all wise, or a mother, or any elder who's all wise and knows that the toy world is inert, insentient, and actually has no joy in it, still comes to the level of the child and plays with the child as a part of child's world. This example should be very clear, will make things more clear. When an adult knowingly that there is no joy for the adult, even for the child, later on when the child grows up. But as of now, for the child, that toy world is everything, is the ultimate. You remove the toy world from their life, they are miserable, they'll cry, they're unhappy, they feel a great sense of loss. They've been deprived of something, they feel. And they cry, they howl, they throw tantrums, they do everything because they feel unhappy. They are sad, they're dejected, they are frustrated, they're irritated, they're angry. All these symptoms flourish, they arise, which we call as samsar. The same thing happens to an adult. When an adult also feels the world is real but gets overwhelmed by their desires or gets lost, just as an adult goes, steps into the child's world, you play with them in their, those little, if it's a girl, you play with them in their toy house, homes. They have this plastic, something it's called, what is it called? Um, Lego. Lego. They make palaces, and then you have these small. Now they have very interesting setups. The artificial small plastic cups. They even have now small, very well. But the adult also drinks from that small cup of tea. What has the adult done? What really has the adult done? Lego, yeah. What really has the adult done? From his level, her level of knowingness, willingly, by their own desire, has come to play with the child who believes the toy world, that dollhouse, to be real. Avatarati. As you have taken to the toy world and play along with the child, do you forget who you are? Do you leave your sthan, your memory of who you are? Do you forget that you are not a child anymore? Your memory, your knowledge of who you are is intact. And yet, you can play with the child. The same principle. Place ourselves in the place of the child. In Ishvara's drishti, we are children. Balaha. We are all, Shastra calls, Shankar also calls us, I think, somewhere. Balaha. We are all kids. We are all infants. Spiritual infants. We require the protection of Ishvara. We require Ishvara to come in some form or the other. When he comes exactly like we go into the child's world, that is Avtaran. I think this should make it clear if you remove all the technicalities to because of the technicalities you come to this kind of a understanding. So you can't dismiss them, you have to know them. Through them you can come into having a summary, a synopsis of who an avatar is, understanding. An avatar's janma is possible. How was my Janma with reference to the child when I played with the toy dollhouse? Was it actually that I became a child? No. But how does a child see me? As one of her. आई ऑल्सो प्लेड, हाँ गर्म है, ठंडा है, ये है, वो है, अच्छा ये बनाते हैं, एंड आई ऑल्सो एक्टेड rolling the chapati. Or if it's a boy, I also went with the flow of the car, and we are racing, we are doing all that tamasha we did. That was a leela. We also did a leela with reference to the child's world. It was a leela. The child sees us as one of them. But what is that? What the child is pratiti, is seeing me as at that time. In child's mind, that pratiti of me is what? Is it who I am? Is it actually, does he see me as who I am? Does she see me as who I am? The child's pratiti, the child's knowledge of me, is from their capacity, their understanding, the child's own limited sense, and projects me because I'm playing with the child. I am vyavharing, sorry for the words, but I'm vyavharing with the child. I'm having a vyavharik uh, transactional life. I'm involved with the child, for the child. The child knows it. That is being who I am. The form that the child sees me is Mike. It's not my real form. My real form, the child doesn't have the chakshu. He's got the chakshu limited by his antakaran. His Indriya Chakshu is only seeing the gross form, but even that cannot comprehend who I am. We all know that. Extend ourselves to our parents. When we were, say, entering our teens, 30s and 40s looked like, oh, we will end our life by then. I used to think, Sara kaam khatam karo before you hit 40. Jo karna is life mein, finish it. So I was definitely in a hurry. Jaldi, jaldi, finish whatever needs to be done in a life. Shankara was my ideal. You don't need to step into an adult life at all. The day your growth for yourself stops, you have no business to continue living in this body. Drop it, because no more is it getting served. But Bhagwan has his own ways. We don't know what is written. So you find yourself at that time, you looked at the people who are 40 around you, your parents and your aunts and your uncles and your friends, every adult you looked around, and you used to think, kitne bade hain. What people call us now, kitne bade hain. Kids look at us like that. That form that you see is not the real form of the person. Even in relative world we are seeing, I'm only bringing, I hope everybody is getting the context right. I'm only making a parallel for us to appreciate even one little bit of what it means to understand an avatar. This is just a low-kick example so that we may stretch ourselves and let our buddhi not be hazy by non-understanding or by partial understanding and miss out on this great, I personally would think, a great opportunity to know more about. Yes, because when I know Bhagwan can appear as a form, I don't play with the child all the time, do I? Do I play with the child all the time?
So is that your Maya?
That is Maya. For the child, what is it? It is a Maya form, my Maya, my own will. I choose to appear as a child in front of the child, having a full adult body, my own form. So the child you don't play with all the time. Yada yada he child rodati, cries. Tada tada he aham srijami. I create myself. How? Balavat, like a child. I become a child with the child and I play with the child. For what? To bring quietude to the child and give time to the child to grow up. One day the child will realize the toy world is a toy world and it's okay if it gets broken, etc. In the same way, he says, my Janma word to us is birth. And birth means a beginning. आरंभ है. आरंभ किसका है? Shastra has done a lot of mimamsa on all these subtle topics. आरंभ किसका है? जन्म किसका है? आरंभ शरीर का है. Body has a beginning. Body takes a birth. The jiva in the body, because of the identification with the body, is now seen to be one with the body and says, I am also born. As the body is growing, says, I am also growing. That janma, in our case, Shastra says, is purely due to ajnanam. In ajnanam, karma phal, for experiencing your karma phal, for undergoing those experiences that you've earned and you cannot escape now. You have earned a certain result that you have to experience, and even Ishvara cannot alter them because they have taken their course. They can only now either fructify, or if they are still not in the state of fructification, they can be destroyed, but only in Atma Vidya. If you do not have Atma Vidya, as long as you do not have Atma Vidya, the karma phala that you have earned for yourself, you have no respite from. They will express themselves. Okay, I won't say no respite. There can be respite when you juggle it with some other karma, if it is possible to juggle. If it is already a sealed karma, means it was a karma done and it's sealed, then the result is sealed. But there are a lot of karmas that are not sealed and they go on and moving. So you can, in a balance of punya and pap, you can do a little more punya and counterbalance a little pap. All those little things only with karmas that are not sealed. How do you know which are karma sealed? You cannot know them. They only express as prarabdha. And prarabdha are sealed karmas, means they will have a result, and no will, even Ishvara's will, cannot um, cannot alter it, cannot certainly destroy it. Only your experience of it, you're going through it, good or bad, either way. Whatever is your karma phal, if it's in the prarabdha state, only you're going through it will keep on exhausting it gradually. And if you are wise enough and not multiplying it in that stage, then you can be free of it with a fresher opportunity. So he says, now this Janma of mine is not like your Janma. It's not karma based because Avatar Bhagwan has no karma. He's a karta. He doesn't have any need to do karma. So he has no shesha karma with which he can be born. Then how is he born? He says, I am born by my own Maya Shakti. That Shakti means what? That is a latent, inherent potential. Ishvara's Purnam. Purnam means whole, full, complete. No English translation is as good as Purnam. Purnam is Purnam, means nothing can be left out of it. Complete has an opposite, incomplete. Okay. Purnam word means everything is in it. There is nothing not there. When everything is included, everything is comprehensive, everything is there. One. That is Purnam. One Bhagwan is Purnam. That Purnam, he's. Why did I come here? I'm sorry. What was I saying?
That
Anybody?
he is born with his own Maya,
Right.
and that is complete with Purna.
Right. So what is Maya? I was explaining Maya. Means to some extent what can be possible. Uh, is he's not dependent. I'm sorry. Ishvara is Purnam. Because being Poonam, everything is in it. That everything being in it, what can you imagine as everything? Everything means everything, all comprehensive. And because it's all comprehensive, everything is possible and is there in a potential state. Anything can happen, anything can manifest because it's all there. It's already Poonam. So from Poonam, Maya Shakti is also one of the faculties. I don't know what word to use. It's not a faculty, it's one of the aspects of Purnata. Having infinite power, having infinite Shakti, having the capacity to express, make someone see what is not there. The Shastra gives us the example of the magician or the clouds that I've been giving in the last 2 3 classes, or in this Bhashyam he had said in Alat Shanti Prakarnam of Mandukya, he says, when you have firewood, he says there, but in present times we can say puljadi. What is a puljadi called in English? The sparkler. If you just quickly, when you burn it and you quickly make rounds, as kids we used to do that, and after some time you remove it, you see a circle or whichever form we used to make forms, eight or or something or the other we used to make. And when the fuljari is exhausted itself, you can see for some time a image there. That is Maya. That is possible. When sunrise sunset doesn't happen, but you still see a sun rising and sunset, the example given to us through the bhashyams, that is Maya. Means what appears but is not real. It's possible in him. So he says, by my own Shakti. And since we can't understand that Shakti, it is called Maya. Only to say that what it appears to you is not its inherent real nature. Maya is not real. माया मीन्स ये जो फॉर्म आप देख रहे हो, दिस इज नॉट रियल. ये जो फुलझड़ी ने आकार छोड़ा है पीछे, ये आकार सत्य नहीं है. This form that the sparkler has left behind, this form is not real. It's not sat. Therefore, Maya just means to say when I'm experiencing something and I'm seeing it with a sense of reality, I understand also simultaneously that it is not real. I can see it as so. When I can see it, I'm not overpowered by the force of Maya. It is not deluding me. How a magician, when they bring out
It's a
suddenly
miracle,
a miracle, is a um,
unhoni.
anhoni is what he had said. Anhoni ko honi kar de. He can do that. Maya here, I mean to say more like um, that also you can say as same, but yeah, a temporary enchantment. That's a very good word. Enchantment. It can enchant you to believe that it is real. So when a magician brings out a bird from somewhere, you see a bird and you always say, okay, I'll try and find out where has the bird come from. But his trick is so instant. We all know it's a trick. We all know that from one of his wands, wand, a bird is not there. But it's a trick. He's held it somewhere in a sleeve or God knows where he puts it. But when the bird flies, you see it as rare. That appearance of the bird as really there, you experience it, you know it, and you are enchanted by it, and you believe it to be real. This Jagat is like that for us. Krishna says, even the Jagat is Maya. This Jagat is also not real. But as long as you see it here, it appears to be real. So by my own Maya, I don't need karma phala for it. And also, the second point was, I don't need the Panchabhutas. We need elements for a body to be formed. Our bodies are modifications of the elements. Panchamahabhut. He says, that's my Prakriti. Maya is another word for it. Trigunatmika Prakriti. By my own Prakriti, I am the master of it. I emerge. And as I emerge, I remain my Ishvara self. I do not lose it. Just as an adult remains the adult when they play with the child, so too Bhagwan says, when I come emerging here between all of you, as a part of you, I do not lose my status, paramarthic status of who I am, and I am paramarthically not even born. I'm not born. I have no Vyaya. I am only seen to interact with you, just as the child sees us to interact with the child. Why are you born then? What is the purpose? So, two things he's covered. What has he covered? The question that Arjun had asked, how did you give him? Because your sharir that I see you is bhautik, is how Arjun understands. Because Krishna is talking. He says, if it is a bhautik sharir made of elements, then it is anitya. It is temporary. It will die. As a bhautik limited sharir, we do not have all comprehensive knowledge because our knowledge is restricted in identification with our body. We have done tadatmam with the sharir, and because of that, we have a capacity, limited capacity to know things and remember things. That limited capacity that we have definitely says by the very birth we cannot know our past life. We don't remember that. So you can't be remembering. Therefore, what is this body of yours that you could have set there if you remember? And if that body is not bhautik, how did you come? So he says, because of my Maya Shakti, I have come. Therefore, my body is not bhautik. And therefore, I am also my being eternal. It's the same. I keep emerging with the same thing. So I can remember I'm Sarvagnya and I'm Nitya. The two things that he's established. I know it completely. Not only yours and mine, everybody's. I am a Sarvagyani. I know it all. And I am also Nitya, means my Upadhi is always there. So I can come anytime. So my Upadhi doesn't have a change and come and go like yours. Now the question was, then why are you coming? You are Paripurna, you are full, you are free. You can come and go as you like. It's your creation. You are also saying it is not real. So why do you come in the first place? What is your karma? So Janma is covered. Then what is the purpose of you coming? Descending. What is the purpose of me playing with the child? There may be a child in my neighborhood who's crying at this moment. I'm not even aware of it. Supposing I'm not going there appearing in front of the child. I don't even know there's a child like that. Because I'm not appearing there, I don't know the child at all. Why, in the which circumstances, when do you decide to come? When are you coming? What makes you come? What is that condition when you will manifest? I'm calling it as manifestation by Shastra's Drishti. When will you appear? Under what conditions do you appear? That you appear, you have told us by your own will. You've told us that there is no conditioning on you, limiting you, which conditions us and limits us. If we are here, we cannot be somewhere. Even to go to another country, you need a visa. You need permission from that country. So you know that movement for us is not easy, even from one place to another. For you, the whole creation is yours. You move in time. For you, you're not bound in time. Past, present, and future are all one for you. You appear anywhere, anytime, in any yoga, in front of anyone, as anything, whenever. But when? That he said. in these verses, 7th and 8th. We have elaborated it enough. So that is my karma. My karma is dharma. Whenever it is in the decline, I will restate it. I will re inspire people because dharma cannot be reinstated unless and until people are inspired to live a dharmic life. When people live in dharma, dharma is revived. When people lose living in dharma, then dharma declines. Means people who uphold dharma, see at certain time, I think 40, 50 years ago, um, just before independence also. Independence of India has changed a lot of things for India. But just before independence also, so many of us, at least I know of, would do their, amongst men who were to do their Sandhya Vandanam, etc. You know, immediately after independence, the sudden change happened. Quickly people stopped doing it. Why? Now that's just an example. I'm not in favor or not in favor. I'm just stating an example, not giving my opinion on whether it should be or not should be. It's not a matter of discussion. It's just an observation that I'm stating as an observation. If Sandhya Vandanam has been spoken of by the Vedas as a nitya karma for a certain set of people, when more people were doing it, you could feel the environment is different because you find people doing it. Even now, when you go in the morning, you find so many people doing the Surya Upasana. It's so fascinating. Where when people do their Surya Namaskar or Surya Upasana, then you also for 2 minutes start looking. More and more people get inspired to do it. It started with one person, became three people, became five people, and then you find that there is a group of some elderly people. With sunrise, they do their Gayatri mantra, they do their basic whatever, some prayers, even for the nation, things like that. This is upholding. क्या मिलता है इन कर्मों से? If you say, supposing I say, what is the prayer for the nation they do? Ah, certainly, Jiva, I keep forgetting things. Ah, some prayer there is for the nation that they do. And when they do that, now what do they get out of this prayer? कुछ फायदा है क्या? They're all 60, 70 plus people. Are they getting some benefit out of doing that prayer? No. They don't have any benefit. They're just doing it because by now, they're used to doing it and they'll enjoy it. Sunrise, they do it, whatever reason they're doing. But they don't get a benefit of it. It's a prayer for the nation, welfare of the nation. That's it. Now, with this prayer, where is the fruit attached? There is no fruit attached to that prayer. It's just a prayer. When such a prayer is being done, means it's an action. Prayer is an action. When such an action is done, people around us, around them who look are also inspired, and then we are also getting motivated, etc. It is for the benefit of us. Now, when more and more people join doing dharma, dharma grows. Vardhate. Dharma has a growth, means dharmic people have grown. I hope we get clear over here because dharma ka adhishtan kya hai? Where does dharma stay? Where is dharma abiding? Dharma is not something external. Dharma abides in buddhi. When more and more people choose to live a dharmic life, dharma grows. When more people give up that dharmic action or those dharmic life, dharma declines. It reduces to few people. There was a time when literally, and it's not, I mean, it's within my teaching span of this Vedanta last 30 years, also I have seen the change. When we started this, so much needing to know someone who can teach us properly, systematically, thoroughly, step by step, because some Purva Samskar must have said that this is a very systematic process. You can't have a random knowledge around it. It is systematic, is how I would say. But there was such a gap between what was available. Even Sanskrit was said at that time, not necessary. There were very few people who were even knowing it, teaching it. Or if someone was, there was a big branding that these people are old fashioned, these people are etc. As a result of which, less and less people were getting attracted to Shastrik Vidya. And even if for Shastra Vidya to convey it, you need a certain set of a Maryada, conduct. Even that was very difficult to form because less people were seen doing it. So the newer generation doesn't know what it is. As a result of which, dharma declines. Have I made sense in communicating? What is it to say, I come to reinstate dharma? Dharma की जब ग्लानि होती है, when it falls, when it slips, when it declines, dharma, this is what it means. That is called decline of dharma. That decline means I come back, re inspire, and now suddenly out of the blue, fascinating to see how the country has revived, even the language it's reviving. Sanskrit is getting revived. People have started talking in Sanskrit. People are now, this English is becoming a third language. Why? When we were teaching, if you taught Vedanta in English, it was wow. And now, in 30 years' time, we've all understood English is just a helpful language. It doesn't communicate everything that is there in the Shastra. For Shastra, Shastra's language is mandatory. And that restated itself. Within 30 years, 40 years, there is a revival. And thousands of volunteers have worked on it, you know, and go on working on such noble intentions as high as this. Even for a language, what are we talking about? Vedantic knowledge, even as high as that. And you find a change in the society. How long? Short lived. Definitely there'll be a decline again, but it's revived for some time. That is called revival. Supposing a stage comes where human effort is no longer able to revive it. However much people are putting in the effort, you have now in the recent times, I have heard so much. 15 years ago, I was struggling to find some Veda Pathshala. And now, every often, here and there, I keep hearing that person's running a Veda Pathshala. Veda Pathshala means actual Vedic Pathshala, where children were taken as brahmacharis and Gurukul, those kind of things, taught the Rig Veda chanting and all those chantings. And I don't know exactly how they go. I don't go into it, but I'm just stating it to say revival, that it's revived. That is called, in the larger context, when more and more people follow it, it dharma gets revived. And why do you need that dharma to revive? Somewhere else he says, because it is the means for yoga shema, abhyuthanam. I'm sorry, it is a means for your um, material and spiritual path, both, prosperity, both. This dharmic life alone can give you both that is required. So he says here now, my janma is Mike. My karma is, whenever there is a decline, I come to just inspire. And here in Krishna's body, what is Bhagwan doing? What is Ishvara doing in Krishna's body other than killing all these? How many did he kill? Right from the childhood, he was killing all these adharmic elements who had grown so much. If you hear the atrocities, when we talk of today's corruption and today the world is this and we are on war, and when you read these stories in the Puranas, the time was even worse sometimes you think than what it is now. At such times, even as a child, his upadhi was such that he was able to keep, as his life proceeded, he destroyed all. Thank you. Abhyudaya Nishreyas. That's the word I was looking for. Abhyudaya Nishreyas. It's a means for Abhyudaya and Nishreyas both. Therefore, dharma is very, very important uh, to sustain for man, for people, for life in general. And dharma is dharmic knowledge. So while he kills, he destroys all those who have taken to the life of adharma. And taking to a life of adharma means living a sensory life, indulgent life. When you are only going along with the pleasures of the senses and the mind and only looking at yourself, you are ready to forsake the welfare of others for your welfare. That grows in you the nature to abandon dharma and that way, and you take to its opposite way, which is sensory way, indulgent way, and that becomes adharma. So adharma rises, and while he is doing that, there's one of the pakshas or slight question that can get asked over here. Bhagwan has so much capacity. You know, by his very Shakti, he can destroy them. Why does he have to appear? You know, why does he need a Janma? He's got Maya Shakti. You know, by his Maya Shakti, he can just destroy. Nobody will get to know. Also, it's like this invisible man coming, Superman coming, and nobody knows who the Superman is, but the Superman has killed the villain. You know, it's something like that. Why can't Bhagwan do that? He's got all the Shakti. The third thing for which he says, I come also to give knowledge, because knowledge cannot be given by Shakti. I need an upadhi for it. The knowledge of dharma is the only way to uphold dharma. So I come to give this knowledge. And here he tells in the fourth chapter to Arjuna, I just gave that yoga to you also. And that was one of the part of his avatar janma as Krishna, that killing the adharmic, reviving the dharma, and also restating the dharma values by giving knowledge about how to follow these values. And that through Rama's birth, he does it by showing the values, and in Krishna's word, he is a little more, uh, he's a different Upadhi. And as a Krishna's Upadhi, he gives us this knowledge, which he says is getting lost in time in the first few verses we saw, which in time keeps getting declined. And oh Arjuna, I have just revived it by giving it to you. And I am adding, thanks to Arjuna and Krishna's Samvad, it is still revived, that sitting in our homes, it's the most fascinating thing to me, trust me. I ever since I just revel in this thought that for this knowledge, people had taken such austere lives. They would renounce homes. They went to Rishikesh or to Himalayas in search of someone who would know this. They would spend years looking for the right teacher who could teach them. If they had to have such high jignasa, they had to have such high um, yes, dharma. They had to have such high mumukshatvam and vairagyam for them to say no to these pleasures of the world. And here, sitting in our homes, and honestly, all my teaching time has always, summers you've had your ACs, winters you've had your heaters, and you've had plates full to, it's such a comfortable existence also. What is the knowledge that has come to us? That knowledge that those people with such austerity or such hard life hardships learnt this and revived it and sustained it and passed it on, that knowledge has come to us as well. How? Through this great work of these acharyas, straight to the source, as they have sustained this knowledge. By reading this, also, we get the clarity of how to interpret these verses, how to understand these verses without ambiguity, without contradiction, without confusion. How do you understand the tatparya, the essence of the Bhagavad Gita? How do you understand the essence of the Shastra? How do you understand what is the purpose of human birth? How do you understand what is my purpose of birth? How do you understand? How do you understand what am I to do in life? All these get clear because they have kept this knowledge so absolutely clear to us by the way they have written, and so many acharyas who explain these so selflessly always that we receive it. And because we receive it, he says, Dharma samsthapanartham. Dharma gets invoked. Someone will get inspired somewhere, and that inspiration allows them to live that. And every time someone lives on these dharmas, dharma is, we have seen it, is another word also for yajna, is another word for Vishnu, is another word for the sustaining factor of creation. That dharma, yuga yuga is only for us. For one who has Maya Upadhi, where is yuga yuga? It's all one for him. But he says, you see yuga yuga. So yuge, whenever need comes, I come. So now you know, whoever knows, he says in the ninth verse, this Janma of mine, this Janma doesn't mean Krishna's Janma, Avatara Janma, Divya Janma. The Janma is Divya. Divya means, English translation would be divine. You know? Divya, by very word, is light, that which illumines. He says, the one who knows that my Janma is Divya, divine. Also, my karma is in accordance to that. My Janma and my karma who have known me, know me in my essence. If you know that I come only with my Maya Upadhi, but in essence I am paramarthically not born. It's like saying I have played with the child. As a child, I took on the name. She said, my niece said to me, you are, give me some name. My niece wanted to play, my niece wanted to play dollhouse with me. So she said, you are
Barbie.
Barbie. She said, you are Barbie. So I also put on Barbie clothes, made my pigtails or made certain things, and I'm a Barbie doll. I'm a Barbie doll. Now that Barbiness that the child is, my niece is seeing me as, she sees me as a Barbie. But the one, say my nephew, a little older, he knows that this Barbiness is actually what, his aunt. He knows that even Santa Claus, that's a good example. Even Santa Claus is what? And then Santa Claus are your uncles and your fathers and brothers, they come across as appearing like a Santa Claus only when you grow up. And it's fascinating. After every generation wants to uphold this myth. I'll call it a myth. If all our Shastra can be called a myth, why not this? This is also a myth. This is really a myth. That Santa Claus, everybody knows there is no Santa Claus. And yet everybody does Vyavhar with the Santa Claus. Fascinating. The day you understand that the Santa Claus is not a Santa Claus, what happens in you? What happens? What change occurs in you the day it strikes to you Santa Claus is my uncle or my brother or my father? What happens? Who gets the bullseye? Let's see. What will happen if my question's clear? I'll repeat my question. What will happen the day? Say you were born in a community where Santa Claus visited every Christmas, and in the morning you discovered some gift in the socks, and it was great to look forward to that day in a year, and then one day you saw it was your father or your elder brother who was putting something in the socks, dressed like a Santa Claus. That day, what happened to you?
You saw reality.
You saw reality, very good. And just before that, what happened to you? What was the first reaction that came to you? You are disappointed. You are not only you are actually
A
so
bit of sadness.
absolutely. You are disappointed. There is sadness. There is the first thing of yours is, this can't be true. Yes, the bubble burst. First thing is that there is disbelief, there is a disillusionment, there is a disbelief that what you held so real is actually not there. That disbelief initial makes you ultimately also take up the role of a Santa Claus when you grow older for your children and grandchildren. You also take on the clothes of Santa Claus for their sake. But that disbelief that you had, yes, that there is no Santa, but that disbelief in our Shastric terms, what would you call it as? What happened the minute that knowledge came? This is not real. There was no Santa Claus. What happened the minute that, I would say, bulb jaga?
Viveka.
Excellent, Viveka. But because
Viveka.
of that Viveka, what happened? Very good. Because of that Gyan, what happened? With reference to
All
Santa
the
Claus.
illusions
Correct. So what
disappeared.
happened? Along with Viveka, what happens? All the disillusion got corrected. What happened?
So Gyan came in.
Vairagya happened for seeking Santa Claus in the world. That Vairagyam, with reference to every Santa Claus that you saw there afterwards on every 25th, 24th of December, every year, yuge yuge, yuge yuge, again and again. The knowledge never shakes now that, oh, maybe the Santa Claus is real this year. Maybe there is a Santa Claus again. If you still have that belief that maybe there is a Santa Claus, you have not seen the reality. You haven't seen your uncle or your brother put that gift there. So you still hold on. There must be a Santa Claus on a sleigh coming, giving me a gift. This is what he says. Yuge yuge, I come again and again. For what sake? That is my karma. I come to reinstate, re-inspire people to follow. I'm sorry, what was I saying was, when you see the real, tattvataha. My nephew sees me, the Barbie, and sees me, his aunt, who is not the Barbie. He knows me in tattvataha. He knows that Barbie is actually his aunt. When you see the Santa Claus there and you see your brother, elder, or your father there, and you know that this Santa Claus, tattvataha, is your older brother or your father, instantly you know, he says, when you are wise like that you see this janma and karma of mine, that time also, tyaktva deham, when you are about to give up, on giving up your body, abandoning the body, means on death. Punarjanma, na, you don't get a punarjanma. You're not born again if you know me. If you know me as an Ishvara. If you know that my avatar janma is only for Leela, is only for play, and my tattvataha, paramarthically, I was never born. I am not born. Forget I am not born. You are not born. You are also not born, O Arjun. You are also not Jiva, O Arjun. You are also paramarthically, you are also the same me, who I am paramarthically. Who am I? I am Brahman. I am one. I am Poonam. That Poonam that I am, that Poonam, the one who knows that this avatara janma, this jagrat, Srishti, and all that happens over here is only happening as long as there is avidya. All this looks real. The suffering is real, the seeking is real, the wanting is real, the avoiding is real, the aspirations are real. All this is going to remain as real as long as I am holding the child in me. That child means that child avastha, like a child who wants toy world to remain in their life. The child doesn't grow. If the child is not growing, that toy world it wants to hold on to, even as it's supposed to keep giving it up. By the time we grow into our teens, we are supposed to give up our toy world. But if we still continue to hold the toy world and play with the toy world, then there is certainly a problem with us. Then, in the same way, this jagat that you're born in, because of your avidya, you are able to see it as real. But it doesn't mean that you should not inquire its essence. When you start the inquiry of what is substantial here, what is essential here, what is real here, and Krishna says, Supposing that inquiry comes into the Tat Pada means Ishvara Pada. If your inquiry is centered around Ishvara, who's Ishvara, what is God, all those questions that I have been stating in last 2 3 classes, any of the question can lead you to the same Bhagwan. Ultimately, through Shastra Vidya, we understand paramarthically there is no Janma of Ishvara. That whoever knows me in a sense, Mam eti, they come to me only. When they are abandoning the body, they come to me, O Arjuna. That means they also get freed of this limited identification with the body and Janma again and again. Means they've got rid of samsara, avidya is destroyed. So when you know Ishvara as Brahman, you will also know with that anugraha that you are non separate from that Ishvara. He's going to talk of that in the next verse. And with this, he says, such a person does not come to me. Janma, tat janma. We'll just quickly do the bhashyam of Shankaracharya first. So far, okay? Just as explanation, Moolam kinds.
Yes, Diptiji.
Great. Okay. So, Tat Janma. What Janma? That Janma is Maya Rupam. My Janma is Maya Rupam. Karma cha. Which karma? Sadhunam Paritranadi. For the protection of the sadhu. And sadhu is the one who is following dharma. For their protection. And Adi means destroying those who are uh, interfering with their resolve to follow dharma. Bhagwan takes care of them also. That is why they say dharmo rakshati rakshataha. If you are sticking to dharma, then it's his job to protect you. Why should you be bothered? Just call him and say, I'm sorry, मुझे तो follow करना है, लेकिन अब I can't control people. These people who are disturbing my sense of righteousness, and I can't do anything about it. Therefore, I'm going to continue following. You protect me. That is his way now, what he does. And a lot of times, what I was saying before, he takes Janma to return the values, to reinvent, to restate the values. So he comes to set the buddhis right as well by knowledge. Paritran Nadi, me mama, mine, divyam. You see in the Moolam Divyam, that Divyam is aprakritam, means aprakrit. It's not a prakrit, it's a prakrit. What is it? Aishwaram. It rests in Ishwara. Aishwarya upadhi hai ye. It's not prakrit like we have. Trigunatmik nahi hai. Maya upadhi hai. He's above it. He's free of it. Evam yatha uktam yaha veti tattvataha. As said in the previous 2 verses, my Janma and my Karma, whoever knows this, my Janma as Maya Roop and my Karma as protection of Sadhu, etc. Yaha Veti, whoever knows, Tattvataha. What is Tattvataha? Tattvena, by Tattvam, through Tattvam. What is Tattvam? Yathavat, as is. Then Tyaktva. And what is that as is? Paramarthik Drishti. What is Paramarthik Drishti? I remain Nirgunam Nirakar Brahman. I am not even Ishvara. I'm not even born. So forget about anything else. This whole creation is not there for me. I don't have a creation from his standpoint. Yathavat, the one who also knows me like that. Tyaktva Deham, Imam, this body, when they give up. Punaha, again, Janma. Janma means Punar Utpatti. Coming back again. Ayo. The thought of it also sends shivers. Coming back again. Na eti. They don't. Utpatti na eti prapnoti. Eti prapnoti. They gain what? Mam. I don't think this full stop should be there. Mam eti. They come to me. Agachati. They come, which means what? Saha muchyate. They get freed, they get liberated, they get also, they cross over the cycle of Janma and Maranam. Hey Arjun, oh Arjun, they also cross over. So, who crosses over first? Those who directly have the knowledge of Tvam Pada means this Jiva Pada. This Jiva Pada means I am this individual, and Shastra tells us you're not the individual, you're Brahman. And you keep on removing the upadhis that you have layered upon yourself, believing I'm short, I'm tall. No, I'm not short and tall. That is the qualities of the body. I am soft, I'm angry, I am disappointed. These are all the upadhis of the mind and intellect. I am not that. What is that? Nirvana Shatakam. Uh, Mano. If you remember, somebody can tell me the first line. Nirvana Shatakam. I remember only the last. Aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupo. I am that. There's a whole 8 9 verses which says I am not this, I'm not Bandhu, I'm not Shishya, I'm not Guru, I'm not all negation of all the upadhis. At the end asserts, who am I? I'm nirvikalp. Manobuddhi ahankara chittani naham na shrotra jivve na grana netre. Thank you. That was it. Correct. Okay. You know, I'm not this assemblage of the body. I'm not all this neti 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 does. Who am I? The last verse is the best. And the last was Aham nirvikalpo nirakara. Aham nirvikalpo nirakara. Rupo chidananda shivoham shivoham. I am that Shiva itself. Shivoham shivoham. One who can claim that is tat. I'm sorry. That is Tvam Pada. Vichar karke. You come to that. He also doesn't return back. Tat pada vichar karke also, when there is a oneness of the Tvam and the Tat, knowing that there is only Brahman alone is, in that Tat pada vichar, the Tvam as Ahankar is resolved, there is no Jiva, there is only Ishvara, and that Ishvara is Brahman. Even this form is Maya, is temporary, is just an upadhi, is not real. Then also Naiti. Then uh, just to say that what I have told you, Arjun, is not something new. As he has already said, I have handed it down since Anadikal. This moksha marg that I have given to you now, consisting of pravritti and nivritti. Through pravritti, it is karma yoga, and through nivritti, it is jnana yoga. Through karma yoga, upasana is also included in it. Purpose is only chitta shuddhi. On a chitta manaha, which means your antakarnam has qualifications of shama dama adi shatakam. You have those attributes, you have those qualities developed in you. Such a one, their inquiry, capacity to inquire is sharp. They have dispassion for sensory involvements, in unnecessary involvements in the world, hopping and shopping in every mall possible and in every mela possible, everything, and same objects. There's a certain disinterest which is very natural to them. People may treat it as, vyavharically, it may be treated as indifference, but they know the real value of all of it. So they don't fall for all these things. Such people who have the Shamadamadi Shataka, they have an inquiring buddhi. They're clear, inquiring buddhi. They seek the knowledge. That seekingness brings them to Vedantic knowledge and brings them to the traditional knowledge. Traditional as in this parampara drishti that is shown, which is established as giving clarity to every seeker of this knowledge. Janma Janmantar. We are not the first generation learning this. We are in the midst of this Ganga Behri hai jo. We are in the midstream somewhere. There are people in the past who have known this path and have As he said, Janaka Adi, they have followed this and have liberated themselves. After us, also, there will be many, many people who will benefit from this knowledge and this path and grow themselves, benefit themselves on this knowledge. So he says, Esha Moksha Margaha. He calls it as Moksha Marg. Again, I'm repeating that Moksha Marg is Pravritti and Nivritti, both comprehensive. That Moksha Marg Idanim Pravrittaha. Na. It's not just now that it has emerged. It's not my school of thought. Krishna is saying, I am not the propounder of this. I'm not the one who's founded it. I'm not the founder of this. I'm not the founder of that's why we call our system as Sanatana Dharma. It's Sanatana. It is Ananta and Anadi, ever existent. That प्रवृत्तः किम तर्हि पूर्वम अपि it was there in the past also. पहले भी बहुत लोगों ने इसका benefit लिया है. That he is now saying in the 10th verse. I'll just chant it once and I'll just start and then we'll probably take it next time. We won't start the new verse now. It's a good time to go over the previous portions, maybe 2-3 classes on Avatara itself, and consolidate as closely as you can. This is a knowledge in progress. As we keep listening again and again, more pennies keep dropping. It's a subtle knowledge. So as our knowledge keeps growing, more things start connecting, and it's a gradually evolving process. So Shravanam is necessary, and then repeating it within oneself. I'll just chant it and we'll stop the class today. Vitaragabhaya krodhaha manmaya mamupashritaha bahavo jnana tapasa bhuta madbhavamagataha. I think the explanation we'll do next time. Next weekend is Diwali. So Sunday definitely evening is Diwali time only. Saturday also, I don't know. I think we'll take it. We'll take a break Saturday, Sunday, spend time with your family, enjoy the festival, and we'll come back next week. Is that okay? And in the meantime, consolidate this as much as you can, and those who missed a few classes can take this time to catch up your past classes and thereafter try and get regular in attending. Is that okay?
Vijay, can I ask a question?
Ji.
So, Idanim Pravrittam is the chakram which he has set in place? That's what it is? In chakram?
No. Here he says, Na idanim pravrittaha. Here pravrittaha means this moksha marg is not idanim, now set.
Okay.
So see, this is Eshaha moksha margaha. This moksha marg, na idanim pravrittaha. Or you say, na pravrittaha idanim. It is not recently developed. Krishna is saying, मैं अपनी तरफ से नहीं कह रहा आपको ये. पहले से ही ये चल रहा है, which I have only restated to you. Okay?
Right. Dhanyavad, Dipti ji.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, happy Diwali everyone. We'll just conclude the class. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhave. Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Hari Om everyone. So thank you. Yes, happy
धन्यवाद
Diwali
दीदी,
everybody.
धन्यवाद.
Dhanyavad. And where am I?
Happy Diwali to everybody.
Yes. I have to stop. Yeah.
Recording stopped.
And thank you everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari Om.